I do. But that doesn't store it. When you're saving it, it saves local first.
You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of Noise Media Network, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County, Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. and Thursday at 11 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Hey, welcome to Good Morning Gwinnett. All my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land. It's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. Listen, we had a beautiful day yesterday. I'm trying to, normally I know when the groundhog sees his shadow, so obviously he didn't see it or he did see it, because yesterday it was beautiful. It was 71 degrees, and today it's going to be just as nice. Today right now, 58 degrees, going up to a high of 65. Got a little bit of clouds. And maybe some rain later on this evening, but still a beautiful day. It's February, and we got 65 and 71 degree weather. That's some beautiful weather right there, baby. So listen, guys, I got a guest in the studio this morning. You hear me? I got a guest this morning. It's Antonio Hicks. But before we get to Antonio, I got to give you the stars brought to you by noted astrologer Michael Thies. I'm going to give you a daily horoscopes, but I have a good show for you. I've been talking to a lot of political candidates. I got a curveball last week when I heard Miss Nicole Henderson was jumped in the race around for commissioner of Gwinnett County. That shocked me. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why you didn't tell me? Because, I just did a volunteer event with her that Saturday before she announced. And she was like, I couldn't tell you. And so someone reminded me yesterday, you media, people can't be telling you stuff. I said, oh, okay. All right. So I get that. You can't tell me because I'm media until you're ready to tell it. So I get it. So anyway, I got another candidate in the studio today in the Noise Factory, and we're going to be talking. He got some really good things he's running on, so I want to get, it's a lot of them. I really want to know, can he make them all happen? That's what I really want to know. But before I get to that, let's go ahead and kick off your horoscopes with today, brought to you by noted astrologer Michael Thies. Today is February what's the day? 4th? Tuesday, February 4th. Let me tell you something. It's so much going on till I get confused about the days. I halfway sleep. Got a new venture that I'm on to. We'll talk about that. And I'm so glad Mr. Hicks is here today because he can probably weigh in on my new venture. It's a good one too. Anyway, let's kick it off with the horoscopes. Aries, someone around you may not be trustworthy. Try to do things with children that will enable them to bond closer to them. You will like to stay busy, and now is a chance for you to do just that. So, I don't know, someone around you may be untrustworthy. Try a backstabber, Aries, so watch out. Watch your back. Taurus, now's the time for completing hobbies that you've been working on for a long time. You may find that children are not as accepting as you've been. You will be wise to socialize with as many people as possible. Get out there and meet some new folks today, Taurus. Gemini, try not to be too emotional with those around you. Hold on, your time will come. Hold on, Gemini, your time is coming. Do your best, but don't make too many promises or you may exhaust yourself. Listen, I know a little bit about exhaustion, Gemini, so don't overpromise. I'm telling you, I was up to midnight last night taking stuff off my plate because I got a big project coming up, a big one, and I know it's going to take a lot of time, so don't overexhaust yourself. Don't do like me. Because I'm always doing that too. And we do it to ourselves. That's the problem. It ain't even other people. You be like, it's you. We do it to ourselves. Cancer, you can prosper if you invest properly into property or mutual funds. Now listen, if you're going to do any, so Antonio's snapping in the studio. I guess he's all about investments. That's a good thing, especially in property.
And I'm a Cancer.
And he's a Cancer. Oh gosh, yes. My daughter's a Cancer. My daughter was actually born on my ex-boyfriend's birthday. That's something. When's your birthday?
That was universe, July 18th.
Okay, she's born 2028. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but yeah. Someone you live with could be frustrated and upset. Children may be difficult to deal with. Don't get involved in uncertain financial ventures today. That's you, Cancer. Watch it. Here's the thing. I always say this. If you're going to get involved in any kind of money-making investments, make sure you know what you're doing. If you don't know, consult a professional. All right? Leo, jealousy may be a contributing factor to your emotional ups and downs. You will be able to dazzle others with your obvious charm and outgoing nature. Travel in pursuit of pleasure and knowledge. Okay? Go out and travel for fun and knowledge. Do both. Have some fun. Get smart at the same time. I know that's the truth. Virgo, you can make professional decisions today that will affect your position. Set aside any decisions regarding your personal life today. Rethink your motive and make the necessary changes yourself. All right, listen, do some professional stuff for yourself today, Virgo. Set aside some time, make some decisions for your personal life, do all that. Rethink your motives. If your motives are bad, chances are it's not going to work. Just know that. All right, listen, I'm going to go to a song. I'll be right back after the song to give you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Michael Thyssen. You're listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show.
I've been feeling emotional, thinking about you, babe. What can we focus on? What we should do? Tell me the truth, 'cause I don't wanna see you with somebody else. And I've been feeling lonely in this king-size bed. I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I've been feeling delusional, thinking about us, babe. Your body's so beautiful. All I want is your love, can't get enough. 'Cause I don't wanna see you with somebody else. And I've been feeling lonely in this king-size bed. I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. Listen, I'm bringing you the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Michael Thyssen. We're going to pick it up with Libra. Make arrangements to spend quality time together. Accept the inevitable, and opportunities for advancement will follow. Renovations to your domestic scene will pay high rewards. Listen, spend some quality time together. Nothing like quality time. That's important. You don't want to go see the divorce attorney. Spend some quality time. Women need quality. You know, it's so funny though. Not all women need quality time. I had some women say, I had one person that I know, they told me they don't need all that stuff. They don't need all that hugging on them. And I was like, really? I was kind of shocked about that. She's like, nah, I don't need none of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm a die-hard romantic. I need it all. It's Valentine's Day coming and my birthday. I got a double whammy this month. Mm-hmm. Scorpio, I'm lucky. Like, you know, the person that got their birthday in December and then Christmas.
That's my dad.
That's your dad. And I'm February, so I got birthday and Valentine's Day. Yes, I'm looking for 4 gifts, kid. Scorpio, a long quiet walk alone may help you sort out your thoughts. Refrain from overspending on entertainment or luxury items. You should regain some of your self-esteem if you get involved in organizational functions. Listen, you need to boost yourself up. Go out, meet some people, get involved. Let me tell you something. When you do good, you feel good. It's just, I'm telling you. I used to say so much that, you know, you see so many celebrities, they have all this money, right? And they stroke some chests and give some money to charity and things like that. But I promise you, if they went out and actually put their hands on things, they would feel a lot better. And I think the ones that got hung up with drugs and all that stuff, I think that's what they missed. I do. I used to think about Whitney Houston when she first died. You know, she was from Jersey. And I used to always say, man, if she just come home and do some stuff, you know, put her hands on some stuff. You know, do something at the schools. You know, but she didn't. I'm sure she gave some money, though. Rest her soul. Anyway, Sagittarius, your mate may not have been honest with you. A passionate encounter with your mate should help alleviate the pent-up energy. You might have a problem juggling your time. Now, I don't even know that. I ain't going to even touch it. I don't know what the passionate encounter is. I don't know if it's going to be in the office, in the closet. I have no idea. I'm not going to touch it. This is a family show. Do what you got to do, Sagittarius. Do what you got to do. Capricorn, your ability to visualize will help you convince others of their responsibilities. Okay, so as I read that, I'm saying to myself, how? Because I need to know how you're going to do that, just visualizing that. Because I need to visualize to convince some folks to do some stuff. So Capricorn, if you figure that part, because that's almost like telepathy, right? You're going to make them do something with your mind, make them. I know you visualize for yourself, but you're going to do some telepathy. Okay. When you figure that out, email me, Audrey, at goodmorninggwinnett. I need to know. Remember that no one can walk through your door if there's someone standing in the doorway. Join groups of humanitarian nature. Listen, I don't know who you're trying to get to walk through the door with somebody blocking. Straight up. I want to say something else, but this is a family show. So I can't say what I really want to say, Cap, but somebody blocking. So you might want to clear the doorway. I'm just saying. Aquarius, based on excitement, serious-minded individuals will be more than interested in backing your ideas. Minor accidents could cause trauma and major setbacks. Aquarius be having some bad luck. I always read bad things about Aquarius. You might want to spend some time by yourself in order to decide exactly how you feel. Oh, Aquarius, you just watch out today, okay? Minor accidents could cause trauma and major setbacks. I don't know, Aquarius. You need to have your stars rearranged. I be reading some bad. Okay, listen, let's get on to it. Pisces, my fellow fish, Pisces. Too much, too fast will be the attitude surrounding your home environment. Yeah, that's what they probably say about me all the time. Visitors may be likely to drop by. Don't start any arguments unless you are prepared to accept the irreparable results. I ain't arguing with nobody today because I got stuff to do. I don't need all that bad energy, so I'm not arguing with anybody. Today's going to be a great day. I accept greatness and peace in my life. I'm putting it out to the universe. I'm using Capricorn's visualization and all that good stuff. Peace.
It's already in you.
It's in me.
You just got to bring it to the forefront.
It's out there. You can see it. I feel it. That's Antonio talking. Amen. We in church. We in church in the North Africa. I'm going to bring a pass on. So Wednesday, I got Pastor Barbara Green. She's coming to do her noisemaker segment, which is videotaped, because she's a member of the Noisemaker Business Alliance. And if you are not a member, you might want to join. So go to www.noisemakerbusinessalliance.com, and you too can be on the Noisemaker TV channel and podcast. Plug for the Noisemaker Business Alliance. But anyway, listen, guys, thank you so much for listening to the horoscopes. I'll be back tomorrow to bring you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Michael Thyssen. Now we're going to get on with our guest, because I got a guest. Mr. Antonio Hicks is in the studio. He's at the Noise Factory today. Oh, you know, I talk to a lot of politicians to be candidates. We got a new channel coming out, too. It's going to be on Roku and Fire TV. It's called The Candidate, because I talk to so many. No, for real. I know y'all think I'm joking because I play around a lot. But for real, it's a new channel coming out on Roku and Fire TV in March. It's called The Candidate, and we're going to be talking to candidates around the world. I have a correspondent over in Virginia who is heavily into politics, global politics. He's from Liberia. He actually ran for president of Liberia a few years back, and I was his public relations liaison for here in Liberia. But he lives in the States. But he ran over he went to Liberia to run. What happened was he was a campaign manager for the gentleman that was running against President Johnson, who was the first woman president of Liberia. And the guy came home for the holidays for Thanksgiving and got killed in Chicago.
Huh?
Yeah, and he asked me, he reached out to me, he asked me, so listen, I was a campaign manager, we share a lot of the same views, what should I do? I said, go home and run for president. And he did that. He went home, he loves politics, he's a diehard politician, but he's a global he loves global politics. So we got a show coming out called The Candidate. You're gonna listen, hearing stuff from candidates around the world. Because listen, we are a global world. Like there are people, right? So there are people all over who can support you wherever you're running.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So all right, so let's get on.
They just can't donate to you.
They can't, because I've interviewed people outside of the United States that can.
Yeah, outside of the United States.
Okay,
yeah.
because I was about to say I've interviewed some folks and we said, listen, you can donate to them even if you don't live in Georgia, but you can't donate if you donate from outside.
Yeah, I don't want no foreign money. I don't even want to tackle that.
Yeah, we don't need no foreign money. We don't need nobody investigating Antonio because he's doing deals in Saudi Arabia.
I don't know. Their oil money pretty good. I don't know.
Listen, people listen to you. I'm just saying. Listen, this is a disclaimer. I did not tell him to say that.
No, I'm all about the Green New Deal anyway, so it's time to get away from them fossil fuels.
Well, let's kick off that because that was one. I've talked to a lot of people on the show so far, and I have a lot more to talk to between now and November. The Green New Deal. First, give us a background on you because I know you're an engineer. Give us a little background on who you are.
So shout out to AKA Antonio Cortez Hicks, AKA Get Me Out of the Matrix for my Instagram account, AKA Team Hicks, AKA Georgia Red, as my mom used to call me growing up here in the South.
Georgia Red.
Georgia Red.
Okay, you got red hair, y'all.
Yeah, I do. Let my wife tell you, it's going gray, and that's the only thing that matters. But during the summertime, it turns red.
Okay.
So, who am I? So, born and raised Georgia boy. Been here my whole life. Grew up in District 4, Stone Mountain, Lithonia, from Redan Elementary School all the way to Redan High School. I think my parents moved us up here. I was like 9, I believe. And been here my whole life. I tried to leave, and for whatever reason, the universe would not let me leave that district. When I got married at the first time, had my kids, I ended up coming back to CD4. So I'm out here now trying to make a change in it. So what got me into politics? So my background is, yes, I'm a network security engineer. Only thing I've ever known is engineering. My dad introduced me to technology at 19 years old, programming on the Commodore 64. Because my dad's an old Bill head. My dad... My dad retired from Bell South with 40 plus years. Started off at Southern Bell when it was Ma Bell, and he taught me and my brother because I'm the middle child. So shout out to all the middle children out there because we are special. We're the greatest ones on this planet.
That's a good thing. The firstborns are the greatest ones.
Surfborns, no, that's the beta testing right there.
Beta.
Firstborn, you gotta test out because you new to parenting. So you got to get through all the trials and tribulations with that firstborn.
And we the strongest one though, because we had to go through the beta testing.
Nah, it's the middle children. So yeah, I'm the middle child. I have an older brother. I have an older brother and a younger sister. The younger ones, God bless y'all, because y'all get spoiled. If you strong, I take my hat off to you because that ain't a clear example out there. My wife's a baby and she was spoiled and she still gets spoiled until they see Cortez. So when Cortez show up, they make her have to serve Poppy. So
listen, y'all, this is a family show.
So Poppy. Yeah, so I mean
Georgette is the relationship person. We gonna go read the X on the show.
I know she listening in right now too, so I know she gonna give me some heck when I get home.
How are you?
So I grew up in Stone Mountain, Lithonia. I was an introvert. I mean, I'm IT, so most IT people. Yeah, we're quiet, but somebody saw something when I was at Bell South. This guy, Ronnie White. He asked me, I think it was year 2000, did I want to get in management? And I'm like, dude, give me my tickets and let me work. I don't feel like talking to people. People are horrible. I was like, I do not feel like talking to people. I'm like, people, man, oh no. And I was like, you want me to work? And it was union at the time too. I said, you want me to talk to union people? In my parents' union. So I've seen what it was like. My parents was like friends with Walter Andrews. So Walter Andrews that's out there, I still think about you sometimes. So yeah, my parents was good friends with him. He was the president of the local CWA. So he saw something in me and he convinced me to step up into management. And from that point on, it's like I've only been into leadership. So it was a growing process. But I learned then, I mean, outside of my grandparents, and I get on that too, but I learned then that people are important. People that actually have stories to tell. People are going through things, and they don't need managers. Like a lot of people that's in the office right now, they don't need managers. They don't need people to tell them what to do. They need actual leaders. Because when you're a leader, because leaders can't be taught. It has to be in you. Because when you're a leader, you actually feel for the people. You actually care about their needs and their values. and their actual well-being. So me, getting into management at the time, at 2000, I had to grow into the process and understand what it was. And for me, coming from the South, I have a lot of compassion for, and my heart goes out to a lot of people. Because I grew up in the country, because I grew up in Macon, Georgia, on top of Stone Mountain. I am, but that's what's special. Because that means we value family.
They do.
And my district is my family, and my Georgians are my family. And this nation will soon to be my family on top of that, too.
Now, you said something. You said leaders, you can't teach people leadership. It has to be in them. Do you think everybody has leadership?
No, I don't.
You do not?
No, I don't. Just like I don't believe everybody has... No, and everybody's not led to have their own church. Everybody's not led to have their own business.
That's true. I agree.
Like, you might believe that. And you want to believe that because it's a desire that's in your heart to have, but... the universe is going to show you whether you are or you're not.
You're right, and it's so funny you say it because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about something that I'm launching soon. But I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and even though people say I'm an entrepreneur, you got to get up. You got to get up when you don't want to get up. You got to go when you don't want to go. Christmas, I was doing the show on Christmas. My mom said, "You gonna do the show today? Don't you take a day off?" And I was like, "Nope."
But if it's your passion,
it's my passion.
You're not working.
I'm not working, and that's what they don't understand. But I get up, I stay up. I'm up half the night. So you're right about that. Everybody's not meant to be. Everybody doesn't have leadership abilities, and everybody's definitely not meant to be an entrepreneur. And you would know if you're meant because nobody has to push you. Nobody has to drag. They don't have to do that stuff. You do it on your own.
Right.
When you find yourself down in the dumps, and, oh my God, I can't get up. Then it's not for you, and you need to be honest with yourself about that. Honest with yourself about that. So listen, let's get on into the interview because you got a lot of good stuff on the website. And
I can talk about my life for a long time because I've been through some stuff in my life.
I know you had Crohn's disease.
I had Crohn's. They found that from when I had my appendix burst.
Wow, look at God. Because had that not happened to you, they wouldn't have found it.
I would have bled to death in my sleep because I was told that too at the age of 16, 17 at the time. Doctor told me I had over 11 ulcers inside my colon.
What?
And if any one of them burst, I could have bled to death in my sleep. Yeah. Now how do you tell it to a teenager?
How old were you?
I was 16, 17. I was in high school.
Wow.
Like my last year of high school, I was out a good portion of the year. I had to go to open campus at the time, which is an alternative school, to make up for the classes I missed because I was getting homeschooled, but I was in the doctor's office 2-3 times a week going for colonoscopies, doing blood work and everything.
Wow.
I was taking, it had to be like 10, 11 pills a day just to keep my Crohn's under control.
So how are you now?
I'm healed. I'm fully recovered. Like you can't eat. So when you have Crohn's, you can't have spicy food. You can't have anything with a ton of seasoning in it. You can't eat dairy. Like you can't eat no dairy because your stomach starts getting messed up. But no, I think I was 19 to 20 at the time. I was like, I'm not going to be taking 11, 12 pills a day for the rest of my life because this Crohn's disease, there's no healing from it. But I started eating right and I started working out a whole lot more. And then I got into boxing and stuff too because I was getting, growing up as you're a nerd, you get bullied in school. So I had to learn how to, defend myself. So once I started doing that and I changed my diet, we started going back for more checkups and the ulcers, they all went away. So my last checkup, I think I was 22. Everything was cleared up. Doctor was like, if he didn't know that what he was going in there for, when he saw it, he said he would have said, we just wasted our time because there's nothing here. My colon was completely cleansed.
Wow.
And I've been fine ever since then.
Look at God is amazing. Sure is. But anyway, glad you're here.
I am too.
Survived.
I am too.
All right. So, you got a lot of good stuff on your website, and I talk to a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people who are running for office, and I normally go to their website. They send me a bio, I go to their website, I do my research. And
of course.
I talk to some of these people. And I'm talking about stuff that's on their website.
And they don't know what's on there.
And they don't know what's on the website.
Right.
So, prayerfully today, I'm going to talk to you about all the stuff you got here, and you're going to tell me about all this stuff. Because you got some good stuff.
Well, it's because I believe in the stuff, not just on there, but because those stuff are part of my belief system and why it's really prompted me to run for office because it's what's lacking in the community right now.
So let's kick it off with the Green New Deal. Talk about that because I'm one of those people, like, I don't want to see people throw paper on the ground.
Or flicking the cigarettes out the window.
I can't stand it. Like, people
or you get done with your fast food and you throw the whole bag out the window.
Bag out the window.
Yeah.
Why?
So nobody cares. I'm sorry. I can't say nobody. A lot of people don't typically care about the planet.
I know. It's so sad.
They just throw trash out. Or the ones you see in an apartment complex, they got the trash bag on top of the roof and when they're driving off, it fall off.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's horrible. The plastic, like we have plastic everywhere, and it's we have a plastic island floating out in the middle. What is it in the Pacific? And, I mean, like the news report that just came out. The waters have gotten so acidic in the oceans now that it's actually burning the shells of sea fish out there.
Oh my God, it's killing crabs.
It's killing crabs, yeah. And you know we all love some crabs.
What am I gonna do?
We all love some, we all love some crabs.
It's got a hot flash. She just said that y'all don't even know. I was thinking about crabs this morning. Like I'm a crab junkie. Like I eat crabs at least 2-3 times a week.
I'm sure.
My mercury levels are probably off the chart if they test.
You know you got what was his name? Jameis Winston down there and down in Florida getting in trouble about them crabs.
What did?
You remember that back in the day?
No, I don't.
He's supposed to have stole them crabs from Publix.
I remember that. Okay. I ain't gonna even. Okay, Jamie, I ain't gonna even get on you. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, that's the past. We don't want to bring up the past because we get healed from that.
Yes.
Because he didn't steal nothing. You know that as you get in football, yeah, they give you stuff.
Y'all can go to the $10.99 buffet, eat all the crabs you want.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta steal them. All right, okay. Let me stop playing. So
Green New Deal.
Yeah, this is one of my best interviews. I can already tell.
So my platform and me talking to people about politics in the community is like one of the guys asked me while I'm out there, okay, what does this mean to me? Mm-hmm. So my biggest thing is when I'm out talking to people, I have my high level stuff, which is what you see on the website. Mm-hmm. But to be experienced and you have to actually come for the community, you got to know how to equate that down to the actual people in the area. Mm-hmm. And how that's going to benefit them, because we can talk about Green New Deal all day long. All these progressive candidates out there, you hear it, it's like one of the hot topics. Oh, I'm supporting the Green New Deal.
I haven't heard it. I'm telling you.
From all the Bernie people? I'm a Bernie supporter too. Bernie folks.
No, the people that I've talked to, I haven't heard it.
AOC, like when she was the one that introduced it. Like everybody talk. If you're progressive now, like all the progressives, that's one of the biggest things to say. Oh, I'm in support of the Green New Deal. But what does it mean?
Right. What does that mean?
So nobody really I keep saying nobody. I'm sorry, not nobody. But a lot of people have not actually read into the meat and the heart of the actual policy itself. And it covers a lot of things because the global economy, the climate change affects every facet of your life. From your health to your jobs to your food to everything. Right. So it covers livable wages.
How does it cover that?
So it's about bringing new jobs back into your area. Mm-hmm. So as we bring new technology jobs, because that's what it's going to be, it's all tech jobs.
Right.
So all the blue collar workers that have lost work from like warehouse work and things like that, we actually can transition it over into doing things for like renewable energy, for solar panels, for wind turbines. So all those jobs are livable wage paying jobs. They're supposed to be because you're working and doing something that's technology related, and which is what we need right now because we're a data centric economy now. Mm-hmm. So we have to transition from out of the old way of doing things with coal plants and stuff like that and actually go into what's the jobs are available right now, which people out here, they hear me say it a lot right now, to train people for the jobs of today and the jobs of tomorrow. Because as an engineer, you don't want to look at things as they are right now. You want to plan ahead. So the Green New Deal, if you give me an asset,
no, go ahead.
It encompasses those jobs. It encompasses livable wages. It encompasses health care. Because you need healthcare. Because if the climate is bad, those that suffer from asthma, like my youngest son suffers from asthma, it will affect them too.
Mm-hmm. Now that sounds great, right? How do you make that happen when the top down, the very top is saying it's not a problem? At the very, very top, it's been said that this is not a problem.
So that's one of the biggest things I've been complaining about today. The establishment hate change. Establishment hates change. And I've been dealing with that on my campaign because everybody's like, who are you and who are you to get up and challenge somebody that's been in office for so long? And I'm like, I'm the person that's actually been living through the problems of this district. So I'm like, you can't tell me about what's right if I've been living in my house the whole time and I see the faucets and stuff not working.
Right.
So you have to replace out the powers to be that's in place, which means the Senate itself. So that's 2020 is a very pivotal race. Yeah. We have to replace out the people that's been holding us down from local all the way up to federal this year. So we need a hashtag get out to vote aggressively across all communities because people have been forgetting about low-income communities. I was told not to even campaign in low-income communities because it was like, oh, well, they don't show up to vote. But I'm like, but they don't show up to vote. It's because you don't come out to the area to talk to them to tell them the reason for voting. Right. And then when you do get their vote, you forget about them once you're in office.
But see, they can't say that either because our president is in the seat because of that very reason.
Which is one of the things I said when I went to a local Dem, the first meeting of the year. And they were talking about, okay, well, how do we get enrollment up in my part of town, which is the Covington Highway area. And I'm like, well, you want to get enrollment up in that part of town? I said, that's where I grew up at. I said, how about showing up there?
Right.
I'm like, and it's not just Democratic Party, so I'm not going to beat Democratic Party down. Republican Party when you show up out there. I was like, nobody comes out, and I will say nobody on this one. Nobody comes out to the low-income areas or so-called ghetto areas, and they don't come out to rural areas, which is where a lot of like low-income families are at. Or you can say people that have trailer parks and stuff is low-income families. But you know who out there? Trump people are out there. They have banners on the sides of the roads. They set up tents. They give out flags. Whenever he's in town, they always pitch a tent out in Loganville and give out stuff and cheer him on. And I'm like, that's how he won last time. And I'm like, that's a measurement of how you know people are ready for change. Like, people argue, oh, nobody's ready for a dim socialist or nobody's ready for a progressive movement. I'm like, look at the people that put this man in office. I'm like, they're tired of career politicians,
right,
because they've been seeing that career politicians have forgot about them. And he did forget about people, but he went on a narrative that he was going to be the hope for them, like President Obama was supposedly a hope for the black community. So, that's how he ended up in place. This is why part of my platform, I was told not to do that, but I'm like, no, because you forget about people, they will never show up for you.
Let me ask you this, because this is, a lot of people, when they voted for President Trump, they felt like he was going to come and help them because he was a businessman. Right. And they need jobs.
Right.
And they need more businesses coming to rural areas, low-income areas. I don't know how well that's going, but they still support him.
It's not.
Right. So, but why are they still supporting him? Is it because he's a Republican, or is it something? Because I haven't seen what he's done in those areas. So why are they still supporting? Like, you see them support him, like they're right there, like,
because he's a breath of fresh air.
What do you mean by that?
So he's not the traditional norm. He's somebody he came from outside of politics. The politics was not his thing. Yeah, they knew he was a businessman. They didn't know how corrupt or crooked he was, but they probably did. They just didn't want to believe it. But yeah, he was not the traditional norm. He wasn't the lawyer that was groomed to be this perfect person, supposedly perfect person to come into office. He came in, it was like, oh, he just tell it like it is, and especially growing up in rural areas, they like hearing stuff like that. Which is why we see a whole lot of videos shared online. We like seeing people get out, cuss folks out, and beat people up. For whatever reason, it's in us. But this man showed up. He was just speaking his mind, and he shot from the hip, and they loved it. And they now, why they still support him today, I don't know. I mean, I believe it's a place of comfort. And they've gotten conditioned to him being who they was, and they just want to stand behind their own personal decision because they don't want to own up to the fact that they might have made a mistake. But no, he has not brought anything back. He hasn't really did anything for this economy. Like, when people argue me to about what, how great 45 is, I say, okay, well, give me a policy that he's been pushing. Right. Not one that he signed off on, because that's what he's supposed to do. Give me something that he's actively been pushing. Like President Obama's thing was the Affordable Care Act. Right. Not Obamacare, and because I hate when people say Obamacare, it is the Affordable Care Act. Right. So that was the thing that he was pushing behind, and then he wanted to do criminal justice reform. So those were his policies. I'm like, but Trump hasn't had, I take that back. He did have something. He wanted to get rid of all immigrants. And that's what he's actively been working towards. Wow.
And that's terrible. I talked to someone, and they were talking about how their mom had been here for years, like 20, 30 years. And she had cancer. And she got pulled over for a traffic ticket. And they were going to deport her. And she was going through chemo at the time. Her kids were born here. They're citizens. But she was not, and she had been here like her whole life. Right. And got stopped for a traffic ticket, had cancer, going through chemo, and they had to plead. I don't know what happened. I was like, that brings tears to your heart. Like, how could? And my thing was, so even the people that arrested her, and they knew her story, I was like, how could they do that? And they said, and so the person said to me, that's their job.
But it is, but you still have a place of judgment. Because if that was the case, all these black folks that get pulled over wouldn't get killed, while other people of other nationalities, when they get pulled over, they get taken to get hamburgers and stuff.
Yeah, I seen a guy come at the cop with the gun, shoot at him, and they still didn't kill him.
Right.
And I was like, really? He had a gun.
Yes.
He shot at you.
Right.
But you chose not to shoot back.
So they have discretion on what they can do. Yeah. I mean, like most cops. I mean, you get pulled over. Like I was downtown with my wife somewhere, and I ran past a stop sign because I didn't see it. It was late at night, and the cop pulled me over, and he just gave me a warning. He said, next time, please be careful because, people are out here. I'm just going to give you a warning this time. So it is up to their discretion whether or not they're going to do something.
Right. When I used to live in Maplewood, New Jersey, I thought those were the nicest cops ever. I mean, they just did nice stuff all the time, and I was like, got to be the nicest cop I've ever met.
We actually have some in Loganville. I mean, surprisingly enough, and in Loganville, because I had a cop pull these kids over in front of my house.
Yeah.
And I saw the lights flashing. I was like, what is going on outside of my house? And so I started getting ready because I'm like, I don't know what's going on outside, but I need to be ready for war if something getting ready to come in my house. But I noticed it was a cop had pulled these 2 young kids over, and they had been in front of the neighborhood. And apparently somebody called the police on them. And they had been smoking marijuana. And the cops, he pulled them out of the car, and he was like, just tell me the truth. Show me where the bong is at or where the marijuana is at, and I'll let you go. They gave it to him. He said, all right, just be careful. He said, next time you're going to do this, do it at your own house. Don't sit in front of the neighborhood because people are, watching out for the communities. And then he let them go.
Wow, that was a nice cop.
Yeah.
But you know what? That wasn't a bad thing.
No.
They weren't doing anything with smoking weed. Now,
right.
Listen. You gotta show some discretion, like Antonio is saying, right? So a lot of times these things now. So let's talk about weed for a second.
Okay.
You believe it should be legalized? I talked to Solicitor General Brian Whiteside. He said the same thing. Why? Why should it be legalized? First
of all, war on drugs is not working. The war on drugs affect the black community grossly. So I'm like, no, it should be legal. Because I'm like, well, look who's benefiting from it now. So we got locked up. We got put in prison. I'm not trying to make this about a black and white thing, but the black community really has been disproportionately affected by this war on drugs. Like we had fathers in the house have been missing, mothers have been taken away from their kids because of an addiction or whatever. It's really affected the black community. And now there's an opioid crisis, and now we're trying to establish treatment for it and actually set aside funds to help fight the opioid treatment. But no, I believe marijuana should be legal because I'm like, man, if you getting high, you ain't doing nothing but trying to chill and get something to eat.
Right. That's true.
You ain't out, with PCP inside of you. No, you just trying to get high and be happy. You just trying to chill out. You done had a hard day at work. You can sit in 2 hours of traffic on 285, 20, 400, Pleasant Hill Road where I'm coming from, Rockdale. Yeah.
You know the church people gonna take your head off about this because you saying it like, yeah, I just want to chill and eat. Is there another reason other than that you support the legalization of marijuana? I mean,
I can look at it from a financial aspect of it. I mean, so look at what's been happening out west. So they've gone from like Utah, Washington State. Colorado, they've gone Colorado. They've gone from red to black.
Yes.
I'm like, they have an exponential amount of money within the budget now to do infrastructure. They should be able to pay teachers. They should be able to have free education. Mm-hmm. You have all this money coming in from the legal sale of marijuana. I'm like, why can't we do the same thing? Because people don't do drugs.
They are.
One thing I'm going to say, the church community, you can have me. I love God too, but one thing you have to understand, because a lot of y'all know growing up, because you did it too, people are going to find a way to get high.
They are.
So I'm like, so why not make marijuana legal?
Right, because they're gonna get it anyway.
Right.
And like you said, out on the West Coast, I mean, the industry, they have so much weed out. I was watching a documentary about 2 weeks ago. There's so much weed being produced out on the West Coast that they have an overabundance, and they can't. One company is like, we have too much, we can't even get rid of it because it's just so much. Because it's only those states that can sell. You can't sell across state lines, right? So in their state, they have, and I want to say it was Oregon, but they can't sell it because they have too much, right? But here's the thing. You got other states here. Like, I believe that it should be legalized. I believe that.
But you're in the Bible Belt, though.
I know. I was born in Georgia too, but I was raised in Jersey. I was born in Albany. Somebody told me it's not. Somebody told me it's not Albany. It's Albany.
It's Albany. Yes.
Yeah. But okay, so I was in Albany. Georgia. Because when I say that, then they say New York. It's like, no, Georgia. I was in Albany, Georgia. Shout out to my family in Albany because most of them are still there. And I love Albany. I look at the land around here. I look at the farms. I feel like making that legal would reinvigorate our farmers.
Yes.
Because it's still land just sitting.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things we need, too. When you talk about farming, we need those that are actually out in the rural areas. Like, we need community farms. Like, they have some down in Atlanta and other parts of the state, but we need community farms. That way, we can get this food desert taken care of out in CD4.
Wow.
Because we have all these Dollar Generals popping up everywhere, but it's hard to see in grocery stores. So you have to travel to get to a grocery store.
How far?
About, 5 miles, 10 miles? Wow. Like, it's where I'm at in Loganville. So we have this back road. It's called Pleasant Hill Road, which is it is a highway because it takes forever a day from there to 124. But on that back street, there's nothing out there. Really? Only Dollar General. No grocery stores, no nothing. So you have to get from 124 to my house. It's about 10 miles, 10, 15 miles. Wow. And it's like there's no grocery store back there. So you have to come all the way up to Highway 78, which is where Publix is at. And then on 124, you would have to, where is it on 124? Yeah, you would have to come up at least once you got
to the Kroger's.
Yeah, to get to the Kroger's or to the Walmart.
Or the Walmart, 10 miles.
Yeah.
So how do you? So okay, so that's your district.
Mm-hmm.
How do you change that?
So you have to entice people.
Loganville is growing.
It is growing. The city of Loganville is growing.
Yeah.
And which is surprising me because I remember growing up when Loganville, if you was a certain nationality, you could not go to Loganville.
They can't help it now. It's people loving Gwinnett, and I talk about how much I love it. So I believe that I'm a catalyst for some of these.
But that's how DeKalb County used to be.
Really?
DeKalb County used to be the district that the county that everybody wanted to go to because that's where all the money was at. We had I lived in Hidden Hills. Hidden Hills was a golf community. We had Snapfinger was a golf community on top of it too. But then, somebody got in office and they voted the other person out that was fighting for us, and it steadily started going downhill. Which is why I say, you can't tell me my house is great if I'm living in my house and I see all the holes in the walls and there's rats running around everywhere.
Listen, guys, we're gonna go to a song. We're gonna come back and finish up with Antonio because we didn't even cover half of the stuff that I want to talk about.
Which means I got to come back, and I'm welcome to come back.
You are welcome to come back, but we still got about 20 minutes. We're going to go to a song. I'll be right back after this next song. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about education reform. We're going to talk about Medicare for all because I know that's big. I know you say you was a burning supporter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how you're going to get that done because a lot of people have said we can do it, but how? So we'll talk about that on the other side. Welcome back to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. It's your girl, Audrey Kearney. Listen, I got a guest in the studio this morning. So seat at the table, Mr. Antonio Hicks. He's here running for State House District 4 for the Congress, and I'm happy to have him here. We're going to talk about Medicare for all. You know, that's something that Bernie Sanders is heavily running on, and so I see Antonio share his same views. Let's talk about that. How can we afford Medicare for all? What does that mean? Because we hear that a lot, but a lot of people don't even know what that means.
Well, I hate to say it when people say, how can we afford it? How can we afford to go to war?
Okay.
We spent $738 billion for the military establishment. That money alone, half of it, not even half of that, can go towards Medicare for all. And the biggest thing is we're trying to have a single payer system and get away from these large corporations, these healthcare companies. Now, I understand that, and it's part of Bernie's bill that, he wants to squash them all together. I understand that you can't do that.
Right.
But at least give people an option, something they can actually pay for and they can afford. Because Affordable Care was good, but we need something just a little bit better that all Americans can take advantage of, and they can actually have healthcare insurance to use, not just afford it. Because it's one thing to afford it, but it's another thing you can afford it, but you can't really use it.
Right. Because that's what I see. Okay, so with the Affordable Care Act, and I want to tell you, we talked about this for a hot second. I remember when President Trump actually won the election, it was a guy, I think in Kentucky. He was like, "Yeah, get rid of Obamacare, get rid of Obamacare."
I hate that.
Right, but he didn't even know that affected him because his insurance, which was a part of the Affordable Care Act, was under something else.
Yes.
And someone brought it to his attention. That's what you got.
Yes.
So why are you trying to get rid of for what reason? Because of the name?
It's because of what's behind it. So that's the problem I say with the people have to, like my wife said, she gets on me because she was like, I don't want to seem too gimmicky, but I'm trying to be, and I'm not trying to be, I am working to be the Morpheus of politics, and I'm trying to open everybody's mind because we've been tricked. Everybody's been tricked. Like these rural people, some of them are under the Affordable Care Act. Right. But because they hear Obamacare, because it was framed as Obamacare, they're like, I don't want that because anything that's got his name tied to it, I don't want to be a part of it.
Right.
But your health care plan is under the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
So once it gets cut, you are affected by that.
Right.
And so they had a lot of reporters, a lot of them, some comedians and stuff too, they were interviewing people and they were asking them, do they like Affordable Care or do they like Obamacare? And they would say, oh, get rid of Obamacare. And it's like, you realize it's the same thing once the interview was done and over with. And people don't realize that.
I know. And that's the sad part.
So for me, until it gets passed, because again, it's one of those things that you have to get the Senate behind too, which means hashtag again, get out to vote, because we need to get rid of those people in the Senate as well too. My thing is, so the biggest part of the Affordable Care, what was it that you can't keep your same doctor? Mm-hmm. Like that was the number one thing that you heard. Oh, it's a great program, but all the people that had their doctors, they can't keep them. Mm-hmm. Realistically, you can if your doctor actually signed up to receive funds from the Affordable Care, like they do Medicaid and everything else. Mm-hmm. So I have a thing to present forward too. I'm like, so Republicans always want to give tax cuts.
Right.
I'm like, so why aren't we giving a tax cut to doctors? So why don't we give a tax cut to doctors and give it based upon a percentage of how many low-income families they actually take into their practice? So that way, I'm like, it'll be until we can get the Affordable Care, Medicare for All passed, which we're going to get it passed. We can actually give a tax break. We can pass an amendment to the Affordable Care Act to give a tax break to doctors for a certain percentage of how many low-income families they actually take into their practice. So that way you can still see your doctor, and then whatever money you get from Medicare and Medicaid can go towards your actual prescription medication. Because I'm tired of seeing these nanas out here. Because every time I go to the pharmacist, and I have to get like sinus medicine, whatever, I end up running across these grandmothers, and it touches my heart because both of my grandparents have passed away. But the one that really raised me the most, Miss Johnny Mae Smith, they remind me of her, and half the time they can't pay for the medication. I pay for so many people's medication because I see them, and I'm like, you shouldn't have to decide on whether or not you want to have food on the table, put gas in your car, or have this medicine that you need to take care of yourself.
Now, wait. Okay, so back up for a second. So these are elderly people.
Yes.
I thought all elderly people were eligible for Medicare.
Yeah, but it doesn't cover everything.
It doesn't cover everything.
No. So this instance, so it covers certain percentages of what you had. Now, what the exact numbers are, I can't tell off the top of my head. Right. But like one instance, I was at CVS, sinus season, so I'm up there trying to get some Sudafed or something. And this elder lady was in front of me. I was going to pay for it anyway, but I heard her going back and forth with the pharmacist talking about, well, that's not what I typically get, and I don't know why the doctor prescribed it for me because I thought she normally does generic, and the lady was like, well, they don't really have a generic for this anymore. So I asked her, I was like, excuse me, ma'am. I said, if I don't mind, I'd like to pay for it. Now, I didn't care what the price was. I mean, it could have been $200. I didn't care because, again, she reminded me of my grandmother. Right. So the lady was like, the pharmacist said, well, it was $40. And I was like, that really broke my heart. I'm like, this lady This elderly lady up here did not have enough money from her Medicare to take care of a $40 prescription.
Wow.
And I'm like, we're talking about the immigrants coming over here. That's not right.
Wow.
I believe, first of all, our seniors should be taken care of.
Yeah, I agree.
Our seniors should be taken care of. That is a wealth of history and knowledge that is to be nourished and to be cherished until they leave this earth. That they should be cared for, and they shouldn't have to worry about anything. Because again, if we can invest so much money into the military, if we can give so many tax breaks to all these corporations that don't even invest back into the community itself, why can't we take care of our seniors?
And I like what you said. Give the tax breaks to the doctors.
Yes.
So they can take care of people.
Yeah, I don't care about a doctor getting. If a doctor is getting rich, but they're getting rich because they're taking care of low-income families, let them be rich.
Right.
I don't care. They're on the front lines.
Right.
The doctors, our teachers, they are all on the front lines.
Right.
And they should be taken care of.
Okay.
Now, we can argue about how wealthy they're getting. I don't care. If they're taking care of low-income families and the people within their community, let them get a tax break.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you spoken to any doctors about this?
I have. They actually liked it. They said they've never heard it before.
Wow. That's great.
They said they was like, it's actually a good idea and they're surprised nobody ever thought of it before. I'm like, that's what us engineers do.
Right.
We engineers, we think outside the box.
That's right. You got to. So let's move on to education reform. All right. So we know teachers are underpaid, overworked, over-test, over-paperwork. How you going to fix that?
So we need some form of oversight for the actual federal dollars that's going into the system because it is a local thing. That's one thing we have to recognize. When people out here pitching about education reform, it's a local thing that you really don't have no say-so over. But you do have say-so over the federal dollars that's coming to the state that actually go towards education. And you can pass some form of oversight to actually measure that out to make sure teachers are getting their proper share. Like, Kemp passed a bill now to try to get $1,000 to every teacher, but it's not going to go to every teacher.
Why not?
Because they didn't have enough money within the budget itself.
Oh.
So it's not going to go to every single teacher.
So who decides which teacher it goes to?
So that's your school board and stuff. So all your commissioners and stuff out there, our first responders, they should be taken care of. So like I said, from our first responders to your EMT workers, your police, your teachers are your first responders. And all those people that are sitting on the school board should not be getting massive increases because we had an incident, I think it was in Gwinnett County, where the school board improved themselves a pay increase, but the teachers got nothing. And I'm like, so, the teachers are the ones taking care of the kids.
Right.
They're the ones that's providing hope to our children.
Right.
They're supposed to be the inspiration for our next generation of youth that's coming up. So if you're not taking care of them, they become disgruntled.
I was at the community outreach had an event last Saturday? I think it was last Saturday. It was called the Youth Commission Summit, I think it was. And it was a Youth Commission, the Youth Commission, Guide, and Yappa. Those were some intelligent kids. They showed up at 7:30. There was a whole room full of them. Very interested in what's going on right now in the world. Right?
They are.
And one kid said to me, and I thought I couldn't shake this. I want to say his name was Justin. It might have been something else, but he said he got tested in the 2nd grade and found out he was gifted and talented. And all through elementary, he was in the gifted and talented program, and he did not even eat with the other kids because they were standard. And they called them standard. And they called him and his group probes. And he felt really bad about that. And he was saying, so he said, what happens is the money goes to the teachers that teach the probe kids,
right,
and the teachers that teach the standard kids don't get the money. I think that's awful.
It is. And what is it telling you to your youth? It's telling you just you're less than.
Right.
And you're not as good.
Right.
So what kind of hope do I have if from a child I'm being told I'm not good enough because I couldn't pass a test?
Right. That's sad. He was like, the best teachers go to the probe students, and then the standard kids, they get whatever's left over.
Right.
Why can't all the teachers be on the probe level? What would that take?
Right. So teachers have to have they should want to have the extra qualifications and certifications, like to be STEAM certified here in Georgia. Anywhere they have to go through a testing period and do an exam or a quiz, whatever it is, to actually become STEAM certified. Now, with that, you do get extra government money to go towards a program for the schools. But a lot of teachers are a little hesitant to doing that.
Why?
I honestly, I can't speak on that.
Afraid of tech, because a lot of people are afraid of tech. They feel like there's people that just can't even open a document, and that's
yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, though. It's one conference I went to, and it was this general, Navy general, and he was like he traveled across the world to come to the Navy. He was like what he's found is that U.S. are users, so we don't build anything, we just use it. And one thing I see about school system, how they're different. Like my kids live in Michigan, in the school district they live in, they actually are STEAM certified. And these kids go out to the mountains, they go out to the snow to look at, do scientific studies and stuff like that. And then when they get done, they go out and play. And a lot of places down here, they don't do anything like that. They make education fun. And education should be fun. Because when we was growing up, we got tied to the Dewey Decimal System.
That's right.
And we had little broke down books that people that drew and stuff in. These kids now got access to iPads, all kind of stuff to make education really fun for them.
They do. Now let me ask you this. Let's go to tech for a second, because that's something that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about entrepreneurship, and I'm passionate about technology. I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years, 21 full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm an author and an inventor and all that good stuff. But I'm really passionate about tech because I feel like we need to bring our kids and our adults up to standard,
right,
to be able to compete in a global economy,
right.
And so, that being said, I'm launching a new tech startup for women, an incubator right here, in the first incubator in Gwinnett County for women, tech incubator. And I want to serve the women who are in low income areas, the women who are in rural Georgia and rural communities, because I feel like there's not enough access for that. So you're an engineer, right?
Right.
How do we make people understand how important tech is and that it's accessible to everybody?
So you have to make it fun. Because I'm working with a program now. It's called Corporate Kids, and that's a part of my platform too. To bring this right now, it's operating in the College Park area, but I'm gonna bring it out to CD4, and it's really to serve low income families and people that just want to change their skill sets and get them qualified to take like certifications, like your Network Plus and Security Plus, like that. But for me, that's what the Corporate Kids currently is right now. But my vision for it and what I plan on doing with it is serving all forms of IT. So even front-end development, which is like web development. Right. So the only thing you really have to understand is like HTML and then like CSS and then maybe a little Java every now and then. Or just like to get onto like a Wix website and how to change headers and stuff around and drag and drop. So you have to, the whole purpose of it is really make it fun for people. Because if you come and teach people, because I was teaching too, I traveled the world teaching too, cybersecurity. So if you make things interesting and break it down to a way they can understand, no different than politics. If you break stuff down to them onto their level, then they'll get excited behind it. Right. Because it's like the idea of technology. Well, I see an iPhone or I see an Android phone. The reason people love Android phones is because how you can make it customizable. The same thing about iPhone. Well, iPhone, what you see is what you get. But if you make it fun for them, because iPhones make it fun. So if you make it fun for them, they will actually want to get involved in it. And if you tell them how it can benefit them and how you can connect things, that's how you will get them to actually come over to, I call it the dark side of technology.
And then so, because I feel like I learned how to do, so you probably, I don't know if you remember, you probably do. Remember Front Page by Microsoft?
Yes.
That's how I built my first website.
It was slow, but yes.
It was slow, but you talking about way back when, right? So it was like Front Page, and I've learned how to put things together. Now, I'm not a programmer by no stretch of your imagination, but I know how to find the right software and put it together and make it work. I can go up there and put up a WordPress site and move stuff around. I can do all that stuff, but I know there's more. Yeah. And I feel like because I've been an entrepreneur for so long, and I'm looking at where we're going globally, and I'm looking at AI. Like this podcast is on Amazon Alexa, and I played it for somebody up front. And they were like, holy crap. Yeah. I was like, that's AI. That's artificial intelligence, right? I'm speaking at Code Ninja in Snellville next month to the kids there and talking about.
That's a good program, too.
That's a great program.
A lot of people don't even know nothing about that. So shout out to all those people that want to get into to business. Yes. Code Ninja is a great program. It's not meant for adults. It's really meant for kids. Yes. And what it is you bring your kids there. You can drop them off in this afternoon after school or whatever, and you can actually do like coding boot camps to teach them about technology and how to program.
It's right in Snellville in the shops on the left hand side by the Ted's I think Ted's Steakhouse.
It's in WebGen.
Yep, in WebGen.
It's in WebGen.
Great program. Vivian runs the program. She's an amazing person. I'm going to be speaking there, but I went to the grand opening there. The kids loved it. It was packed in there.
Well,
they made it fun.
Well, that's the thing about that's the thing about technology. So when I had my boys many moons ago, they consider my boys advanced because I would teach them about technology. We would go through what was it? Certain things that I would just make sure they understood what stuff was. To me, it would seem basic.
Right.
But when they got into like kids are kids and stuff like that, and they were going through the little classrooms, my boys were bored.
Right.
And they had nerve to tell me, well, your kids are just advanced. So I was like, no. I'm like, kids are like a sponge.
Right.
Kids love to learn. I'm like, this is why they walk around touching things. They're learning. Their brains are learning at an immense rate. So I'm like, you have to nourish that and then feed off into that. And I'm like, and then they'll enjoy it. They'll continue doing it.
So you got your corporate kids program.
Yes.
That you're going to be expanding. Talk to the audience real quick about how important technology is from an economic development standpoint. So
I was on another podcast, I think it was last week, and one of the guys, we was talking about AI and talking about data and me being security, like how we going to protect data. And should we stop doing so much oversight with as far as the government monitoring people's data? And I'm like, data is important. Now, I don't think that everybody, especially the alphabet people, should have their hands in it. I think it really should come to, them getting subpoenaed, even though they're supposed to be the process, but it's not a process half the time, especially in IT security. But data helps out in every aspect of your life. Mm-hmm. Doctors, elders, your seniors. If your seniors have, say, an Apple Watch, it's keeping up with your heart rate, and you're actively monitoring your medicine, your prescriptions, like how much you're taking, how much food you're intaking, the type of food that you're eating. The doctors can use that information to determine what medication they can prescribe to you. Mm-hmm. So data is important for kids. So I see some of the things, the activities that my children are doing, and I can upload that into a system. Then I can measure a platform on my own kids' personal growth, or I can see what they need help in. So AI development, I understand the fear, especially in the Bible, because you start talking about AI development in the Bible, it's like the Antichrist is coming.
Yeah, right here.
But his name 45. But yes, it's good in the community. If we embrace it, it can help us out in a way to get us to the next level. Because I was listening to a thing yesterday, and we were talking about how fast technology is growing, but humans are still humans.
Right.
So if you take a human back from 1967, or you take somebody back from the 1800s, and you just train them on the stuff for today, human is still inhuman. So what do we do to get to the next level of advancement? I'm like, we have to train ourselves and constantly train ourselves. I mean, just look at mental growth. Mm-hmm. If you're on a job and you've been working your job for 40-something years, you become stagnated, but you've been doing something for a repeat cycle for all that 40-plus years. And the minute you stop and your brain gets comfortable and it relaxes, then your health starts going downhill. Mm-hmm. You start having memory loss. So I'm like, you have to keep challenging yourself. Now, I'm not saying for us to become part of the Borg. I don't know if y'all some Star Trek people out there. The Borg, you have your AI integration or Terminator. But I think we should embrace technology. I think we really should become part of technology itself, because otherwise it's already surpassing us anyway with AI development.
Yeah.
You already have AI that right now can beat out the best chess player in the world. Wow. You have AI that can beat out the best gamers out there now. So I'm like, if we don't embrace it, it's going to overtake us anyway.
That's right. That's why I'm launching this tech startup for women, because we got to listen. Ladies, you can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid of technology. We need it. We need the data. And
women in the Georgia area, they have a ton of scholarship programs and women development programs to get you ready for technology period. Like women in coding, mm-hmm. They have a ton of programs out there. My wife actually took one of the boot camps for. She went to Georgia Tech boot camp. I think she took a couple of other classes too, right, geared towards women. But no, there's a lot of programs out here we need women in technology. Basically, I'm telling you right now.
Python.
Throughout my entire career working in IT for 21, 22 years, I've only seen a handful of women that's been up in there.
Right.
And not to say that we don't have a ton of programmers. We do have a lot of women programmers now, but we still need more, especially engineers. I encourage everybody, especially in the minority community, to become engineers. Yes. It is not that hard. I'm like, everything, really, a lot of stuff is automated nowadays. Yep. So I'm like, just come over, learn. We will embrace you. We will love you. And we will make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful. Just stop being afraid of it. Yeah. Because technology is not as difficult as you're making it out to be.
It's not, and it's amazing. Like I was online last night because I'm launching this tech incubator. So the incubator is going to be right here at the Paradigm. It's going to be an 11-week incubator. You're going to get a 1-year residency here inside Paradigm, so you have office space and access to the internet and all that stuff. And we're going to nurture you through business, because I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years. So we're going to nurture you through starting a business, right? It's got to be tech, though, because we don't want you to be afraid, because there's a lot of opportunities. But anyway, I was looking at, okay, what do I need to learn? I know how to put stuff together. That's tech, I know. Mm-hmm. But I need to learn something else. I want to learn Python.
Yeah, Python is good. Python is a basic. It's the easiest to start a programming language because it's kind of straightforward, almost like Base. If a lot of people remember Base when we used to do programming back then. But Python is good for security because Python is good for data analytics. It's good for AI development. And they have like Raspberry Pis, so you can get Raspberry Pis and you can put those together. You can have your own Minecraft. You can create Minecraft servers and stuff to play Minecraft games in and host actual games with your friends and invite them over. So Python is a good place to start.
And I figured that was a good place to start, so that's what I'll be starting. Because I like technology. Like, I'm not afraid of technology. I get on there and learn something quick. And I was slapping myself like, why didn't I do this early? I was doing this like, why didn't I do this early? Like, I'm playing around, But when I sat back and I talked to the young lady who owns this space, and I said, we need to bring women in tech out here. They're in Atlanta big, They're in Gwinnett a little bit. They're not
in rural areas.
They're not out here.
No.
They're not out here. So I was like, we need to bring women in tech out here. And so I was like, let's launch an incubator. So she agreed to partner with me to have the women be able to come here and learn how to start businesses in tech.
Yeah, I mean, I would have 3D printing machines out here. Yes. So all those creators that want to make coasters, or you have when you make like toys, like the Funko Pops is famous right now. Everybody's buying. They like little bobblehead type toys. Okay. And I collect a bunch of them. My wife always told me, bringing all these toys in the house. And I'm like, well, I like Funko Pops, especially if they create one after my favorite character. I'm an anime person too, so shout out to all the people that watch anime. So yes, I'm a big kid at heart, which is probably why I look 20-something years old. But no, I would have the Raspberry Pis. I would have 3D printers. I would actually get into doing VR. Yep. So bring in some VR headsets to teach them how they can do some augmented reality type stuff. Yep. So all that stuff, and it's good. I mean, because you can really do that towards, and not to sound sexist, but people that want to be content creators, like they do makeup and stuff like that. You can actually create an AR type software to where you can replicate them putting makeup on without actually putting makeup on and see how you would look once it's finished and it's done, as opposed to being on the phone.
You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. This is why this is important. And this man is running for he wants your vote. We out of time.
Yeah, we need more engineers in Congress. I know we got lawyers out there, but us engineers, we see the whole picture and we know how to we drop down to the root cause of it and we know how to fix it from the bottom up.
Problem solvers. In order to be an engineer, you have to be a problem solver, right? Because you cannot be one without being. You got to be
right.
You have to be. So that means maybe guys, he may be a man.
I believe I am, especially being homegrown and coming from the district that I grew up in. It's time for change out there, and I think we need to convert that and rebrand all of CD4 to a more technology-centric area so we can grow the same way Gwinnett County is growing, but actually we can be the first implementations of those within the Green New Deal to do our solar panels, to get an actual real AI development, to open up some of those warehouses being closed down and actually start development centers to grow our kids out there and the seniors that's out there too, because the seniors don't have much to do. So if you teach them on something new, we can utilize those resources. So my plan is to rebrand CD4 and to take us back to where we at and then make us even better.
All right. So now tell us real quick, what areas will you be over in District 4?
So District 4 consists of DeKalb County, parts of Gwinnett, which is Snellville, Lilburn, and Loganville, Rockdale, and Newton.
Okay. All right, so listen, guys, you heard him right here. He's going to come back because we only got to 3 things.
I got a lot to cover.
He got 6 on here that I ain't even we got 5 more.
And I got more to add, too.
Yeah, he got more. So we didn't bring him back because I love what he says. I love his mind. I'm not in your district, unfortunately.
That's okay. I can still take your support.
You can.
So everybody out there, I do need your support. I am a grassroots candidate. I am running against somebody that's a beast of a machine, but I'm not afraid of giants because I done dealt with giants in my life and I've defeated them. So for me, I'm not intimidated by it. But check me out, AntonioHicksForCongress.com. I'm on Twitter at ACH for Congress. So, shout out to all my Twitter warriors out there. I'm also on Facebook, Antonio Hicks for Congress on Facebook. On Instagram, Get Me Out of the Matrix. But if you go to my Facebook page, I have the link out there because I know that's a mouthful to say. I am looking for volunteers. So whether you live in my district or not, I'm putting together some warriors so we can get out and continue beating these streets down and go to the areas where I grew up in, where people are afraid to come out to now, because everybody has the right to vote. Everybody should be voting, and people should understand that they have somebody out here that's really fighting for them. So I can take your donations too. We take small dollar donations. So I understand, you don't want to give out those $100 people are asking for. So I do take $1 or $2 because everyone helps. It's grassroots funded. It's going towards flyers. It's going towards getting the message out and potentially paying for staff. So, check me out again, AntonioHicksForCongress.com, or you can come to my Facebook page, Antonio Hicks for Congress, and Twitter, ACH for Congress. And we want volunteers. We will take a ton of volunteers wherever you are in Georgia. I'm a Georgia boy. I love all my Georgians to death. And if you're outside of Georgia, we'll take you in too, because, coming up, we understand about community. And community just doesn't stop in one place. It comes across this nation.
Listen, guys, I have Antonio back again because there's a lot I did not get to cover, and we're going to live stream the next interview because we are releasing a new show called The Candidate. And that show is going to be focused on political candidates around the globe, not just here in Georgia, but around the globe. It's called A Candidate because there's a lot of election that go on that we don't know about. And believe it or not, a lot of those elections affect what we do because we're everywhere. The United States is in every country doing something, and only thing we hear about is the stuff that they want us to hear about.
Right.
We need to hear more. We need to know who the president is. We need to know who the prime minister is. We need to know who the minister of finance is and why he get voted. We need to know these things, and that's what The Candidate is all about around the globe. Because right now we don't know. We only know what they tell us.
Right. The system plays to your ignorance.
That's right. And there's no need for that when we have the internet.
Right. You have the internet is in your hands. Not even the computer. The internet is in your hand. So when you're on your smartphones, it's not just about social media. It's just not about text messages. It's not about making phone calls. You have the power of computation is in your pocket that you can use to better yourself and open your mind up to what's really taking place, not only across your local area, but across this country and across this world.
Amen. Listen, thank you again for listening. We are out of time. We went over. I knew we would. That's what happens when I have a good interview. It goes over. But I'll have him back again. And this time, hopefully, we'll have it open so you can ask questions via video because we're on live streaming. Thank you again for being here. I know you could have been anywhere, but you spent an hour and 11 minutes with me, and I appreciate you so much.
No, thank you for having me. And then next time, y'all get to see Georgia Red's pretty face.
All right. All right, listen, guys, that's all I got for you today. If you missed any past episode of the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com and listen to the past episodes. Make sure to download the skill on your Alexa so you can listen to the show at home when you're just chilling. Go back and listen. We said a lot today. Antonio said a lot. He shared a lot about his vision, and I still didn't cover 5 things. So it's a lot more to come. Also, download the app from the App Store. Apple App Store, Google Play Store. The app is there. Good Morning Gwinnett. Follow us on Twitter at GM Gwinnett. Follow us on Facebook at Good Morning Gwinnett and on Instagram at Good Morning Gwinnett. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m., God willing. Thank you again for listening. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you liked this episode, subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends. To learn more about Noise Media Network, visit www.noisemedia.us.